the FBI allows me in the
already know that
done.
answer from you, and you have already been advised that you can answer the questions here, because guess what? This is the United States Congress where you're testifying, not under the jurisdiction of the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Mr. Chairman, we cannot be asking about an ongoing investigation that is sabotaging an ongoing investigation by this committee, and that's what he's not cooperating with, and we should not do it.
It is,
and he cannot cooperating with that.
It is. These questions are table-setting questions regarding the formation of this, and he can answer those questions. But
he cannot answer questions regarding an ongoing investigation.
That he can, and so Mr.
He's
Gowdy's
been advised by the FBI that he cannot.
No, he's been advised that he can, and Mr. Gowdy's going to again ask his question.
The gentleman from Ohio has asked for 15 seconds.
So, Agent Strzok, who's being square here? Glenn Simpson says no one from Fusion spoke with the FBI. You say in your email, we got a copy of the dossier from Simpson.
Mr. Chairman, regular order.
We will have regular order, and we'll revisit that question. Now the chair recognizes the gentleman from South Carolina.
Agent Strzok, between July 31st, 2016 and August
Mr. Chairman,
6th.
regular order.
This is regular order. The gentleman refused to answer the question earlier. He has now been advised, and I have been advised by the FBI that he may answer the question that was in order earlier, and he's now going to answer the question.
But, Mr. Chairman, Republicans have controlled the time. Now the time goes to the Democrats.
The gentleman will be recognized shortly.
Agent Strzok, between July 31st, 2016 and August 6th, 2016, how many witness interviews did you conduct as part of the Russia-Trump campaign alleged collusion investigation?
I don't recall, and I'd have to check the case file.
We waited all that time for that answer?
Yes, sir.
That's eerily similar to what you said a couple hours ago.
Sir, I am telling you, and I would reject the characterization that I refuse to answer anything. I want to answer these questions.
Well,
I'm going by the direction that I received from the FBI.
I just asked you one, and I'm looking for a number.
Sir, and my answer
I'm looking
is,
for a number.
I do not know without the opportunity to check the case file.
You don't recall in the first week of an investigation that you originated, approved, or the contact person on, you don't recall how many witness interviews you did in the first week?
Sir, I remember that there were interviews conducted. I do not know when they fell on a calendar to be able to tell you whether they were in any set of date or the other on something that was occurring in the context of a myriad other responsibilities.
When's the last time you looked at the file, Agent Strzok?
Probably going on a year.
For those of us who happened to look at it yesterday, would you disagree that the first interview took place on August the 11th?
I don't know, Congressman. I cannot answer that.
Well, prior to July 31st, 2016, how many witness interviews did you conduct as part of the Russia-Trump campaign alleged collusion investigation?
None.
So none before July 31st, which would be none at the time you said what you said in that text on July 21st.
I don't understand the text you're referring to.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. This is on our time.
Well, no. There are two more questions he didn't.
Right.
He wouldn't answer.
The gentleman will continue.
Between May 17th.
Explain why he can continue in our time.
He can continue. He's not on your time.
Not my personally Democratic time.
It's on our time because he was advised earlier by the FBI that he could not answer the questions, and now he's advised that he can. So the questions will be asked and answered.
Between May 7th.
Parliamentary inquiry, what rules are we following that would dictate such an answer by you, Mr. Chairman?
We are following the rules of the committee.
Could you cite the rule?
No.
No.
Gentlemen will proceed.
Just, Mr. Chairman, point of parliamentary inquiry.
This seems to be
We're going to the Democrats.
Mr. Chairman, point of parliamentary inquiry
can continue, but when you do, and the FBI tells him he can't answer a question, and then they change their mind and says he can, we're going to take the time out to do that, and then we're going to continue.
Mr. Chairman, point of parliamentary inquiry.
The gentleman
Democratic
from South
members
Carolina
have a
is
right
recognized.
to know what the rules are in governing this hearing.
Gentlemen,
can you share with us
the
the
gentleman
secret rules
is not
that
in
you're
order.
making up as you go along?
Agent Strzok, between May 17th, 2017 and May 18th, 2017, how many interviews did you conduct as part of the special counsel team?
I don't believe I conducted any.
Between May 17th, 2017 and May 22nd, 2017, how many witness interviews did you conduct in that 5-day period?
Well, so you just went back a year from 2018 to 2017, and I don't know.
2017, May 17th, 2017,
Okay.
May 22nd, 2017.
Yeah, I believe you may have said 18, but 17, I don't know.
Whether I did or not, it's the 17th, 2017.
Fair enough, and I don't recall.
Well, Chairman, I appreciate you letting me make that clear. And again, the context when you would not answer it was you used the word impeachment on May the 18th, 2017, and you used the word impeachment on May the 22nd, 2017. And your testimony is you can't recall a single interview you would have done as part of that investigation that was supposed to lead to impeachment. And I think that line of questioning, I'm glad the FBI finally realized it, albeit a couple hours too late. When you are prejudging not just a result, but a punishment, which is what impeachment is. When you are prejudging the conviction and the sentencing, when you have not conducted a single solitary interview, I'm sorry, Agent Strzok, but that is letting your bias impact your professional judgment.
Mr. Chairman, may I respond?
Briefly.
Sir, so look, I never prejudged anything. Not in this case, not in any others.
Impeachment for what, Agent Strzok? Impeachment for what?
Second of all,
Mr. Chairman, what are the rules here? Mr. Chairman, what are the rules?
The gentleman will allow the witness to answer the question, and then we'll move on.
Second,
He was given time to respond. And
the
now
notion, at the time I was the Deputy Assistant Director, I have section chiefs, unit chiefs in the field, supervisors, agents, people who typically do interviews, not me. If something is notable or high level, I might be involved, but it would be rare, if never, that I would typically get out there and conduct interviews, first of all. Second, you mentioned the use of the word impeachment. That was used in the context of my not knowing what this would lead to. I was not prejudging impeachment. When I used that term, it was saying it might do nothing.
Please.
It might lead all the way to something on the other.
Thank you, Agent Strzok.
Agent
The
Strzok,
chair
are
now
you kidding?
recognizes the gentleman from Missouri, Mr. Clay. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Iowa, Mr. King, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To start this off, I'd like to yield to the gentleman from South Carolina for a brief presentation.
Thank the gentleman from Iowa. Agent Strzok, do you have your text in front of you?
I do not.
Can you, well, let me read one to you, and you tell me whether or not you recall saying this. On May the 18th, 2017, who gives I'll give you a hint, starts with F, one more AD versus an investigation leading to, guess what that last word is?
Sorry, I recall the text. It's impeachment.
Impeachment. The day after Mueller was appointed. How about on May the 22nd? Do you remember that text? Do you have that one in front of you?
I do not.
Well, here, let me see if this refreshes your recollection. This is you in response to something Lisa Page sent you. I'm torn. I think, no, I'm more replaceable than you are in this. I'm the best for it, but there are others who can do it. Okay, you're different and more unique. This is yours. Plus, leaving an SC, having been an SC, resulting in an, guess what that next word is?
I'm sure you've got it, sir.
No, well, you wrote it.
Are you asking me what I said?
Yeah, what do you think it is?
I don't need to guess. Impeachment, sir.
Impeachment. 5 days. 5 days after Mueller has been appointed special counsel, and you're already talking about impeachment twice. I thank the gentleman from Iowa.
Mr. Chairman, may I respond, please?
The gentleman yields. Agent Strzok, now I'm confused because I thought on that August 8, 2016 text that you did not recall typing it. And then you said that you recalled it was late at night, and that somehow mitigated the content of what you typed. So do you recall it, or was it late at night? And what else do you recall about the timing of that?
Mr. Chairman, I think my recollection and statements have been consistent across the board. I don't remember typing it. It was late at night. My sense was I can tell you what it was not. It was not a suggestion that I or the FBI take any action.
Well, I'll tell you what, instead of us musing about what you meant, why don't we just go with what you said?
Okay. So I would actually rather go with what I did. But that is, at the end of the day, that is.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second, I promise you. No, he's not. We'll stop it. And I think you've agreed that it was his candidacy, right?
Or his election. I don't think, again, not recalling writing it. His candidacy, his election, I don't recall writing it. I'm not sure what it means.
And what do you mean by stop?
Stop it, again, my sense, looking at the context, was that there was no way, coming off the heels of insulting the Khan family, that the American, and all the other statements that had been made in the comparison of genital size during a debate and everything else, that there was no way that the American population was going to elect this man. So my sense was this is a off-the-cuff, hey, don't worry about it sort of comment. And if you look at the next day when I send a text saying, hey, what was that? It's clear there is no conspiracy, there's no meeting of the minds, there's no suggestion of actions. It was merely a one-off comment.
And, of course, it's about a week before you use the word we again in connection with an insurance policy to make sure that he was not elected president. And then we get to the day Mueller was appointed special counsel, day after. Let's go through this one again, see if it rings a bell with you. Who gives a F, one more AD, an investigation leading to impeachment with a question mark? Why are you talking about impeachment the day of special counsel's appointment?
Well, sir,
I mean, and while you're thinking about that, let me give you a few other options you could have said. An investigation leading into indictments against Russians, an investigation leading to better election security, an investigation leading into a robust response to what Russia tried to do to our country. But you didn't say any of that, Agent Strzok. You went straight to impeachment. Do you know how impeachment works?
I have a general understanding.
How does it work?
Sir, my understanding is limited to that is something done by the Congress, that there are articles of impeachment, and the procedure by which that occurs, I am not an expert.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you have to be a sitting office holder to be impeached?
Sir, I don't know the answer to that.
Well, I actually do. And I will take note that you never once used the word in connection with Secretary Clinton, did you?
Sir, I did not, no.
No, you didn't. If you did, we don't have it. So that's an investigation where you didn't think about mentioning it, but the day Mueller was appointed, rather than punishing Russia, rather than indicting Russians, rather than doing something about social media, you went straight to impeachment.
Wrong. That's incorrect, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Regular order, Mr. Chairman. The
I'm out
time's
of time,
expired.
and we'll revisit the issue.
May I respond to your question, sir?
You may when we revisit the issue.
Oh, you just asked a question. May I respond now?
Answer the question.
Mr. Chairman, the witness is permitted to answer the question briefly, as
The gentleman
Chairman,
from Louisiana is recognized.
as the
Mr.
chairman
Ritchie.
has repeatedly said today.
The gentleman from Louisiana is recognized.
Is the witness
Mr.
not going to
Ritchie.
be permitted to answer the question, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to object to your not permitting the witness to answer the question you asked him.
Who's the member from?
One moment while I find out who's next on the Democrat side.
Mr. Chairman, that is not the question.
Sir, you asked if I went directly to impeachment rather than Russia. I would like to respond to that question that you asked immediately.
We're going to come back to it, but
He should be
if you're
permitted to answer the
dying to
question.
respond to it now, as long as you do actually respond to the question.
Yes, sir. My immediate concern was absolutely having to do with Russia and everything related to that. My concern was what Russia was doing on social media. My concern was what Russian intelligence officers were doing in the United States. My concern was what the government of Russia might or might not be doing with members of the Trump campaign.
That's
was
great,
broad
Agent
and
Strzok.
robust.
That's
that
wonderful.
was my response.
That's wonderful, and trust me when I tell you, that would have been a longer text. I get that. It would have taken a lot longer for you to actually type that, but you didn't.
Regular order,
word
Mr. Chairman. Are you
impeachment.
going to just pontificate for nonstop?
General lady from Michigan is recognized.